Next up. Deshaun Watson. That's right. The Deshaun Watson. After years of being drug out, the lawyers have finally stated that the final Deshaun Watson case has been resolved and now is over. AKA the final woman has been paid off to keep her mouth shut. Since Deshaun Watson has been starting quarterback in Cleveland, he has had 17 starts. In those starts, guys, he is 9-8. This record of 9-8 for the Cleveland Browns has cost him $230 million guaranteed money, 6 draft picks, including 3 first-round draft picks as well. So far in 5 games this season, Deshaun Watson has the lowest QBR in the NFL, and that's at 21. 21 QBR, the lowest in the NFL for qualified quarterbacks. So, guys, buy or sell, since all this lawsuit, all this off-the-field stuff has been resolved, Deshaun Watson will finally come back to an MVP level. Buy or sell. Let's flash back, guys, to 2018. 2018 through 2020, Deshaun Watson was a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback. He made the Pro Bowl three years in a row, 2018, 2019, 2020. 2020, he actually led the NFL in passing. That offseason, he did become the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. He got those dollar bills, yo. But since then, he's been traded to the Cleveland Browns. Since then, he was suspended for like a year and a half. And since then, he's only played 17 starts in this NFL, in the NFL. And when we look at the Cleveland Browns right now, guys, they're just a bad team. But we talked about it earlier. One good win this weekend, or just a win in general, they could really start to right the ship. When the Browns play the Eagles, and then they have the Bengals coming up as well, and if they win those 2 games and Deshaun Watson plays good, it can get contagious. A whole team can start to come together. Nick Chubb comes back, Amari Cooper starts performing, and then Deshaun Watson starts leading the NFL in passing. It could happen. So buy or sell. Now that the lawsuits are all over, Deshaun Watson will come back to his once MVP level. Guys, this is a sell. This is a sell. Deshaun Watson is all but done in Cleveland. Deshaun Watson has no faith in himself. The fans want him out. The coaches want him out. The media wants him out. The only reason why he has not been benched yet or cut is because of the $230 million. How about this? The $170 million dead cap hit if he were to get cut. This is a sell that Deshaun Watson will never become an MVP quarterback again. Not in Cleveland. He needs a new change of scenery. He needs something. But in Cleveland, he is done. He should be cut. He should be benched. But let's just be honest, the Cleveland Browns simply cannot afford it. That is the only reason why he is still on the roster. Jameis Winston needs to be put in there. Deshaun Watson needs to be benched. I don't know if he needs to clear his head, a new change of scenery, maybe a new offensive coordinator. I don't know. The mojo is gone in Deshaun Watson. It just, for whatever reason, the funk is there and he can't get it out. Get the funk out. So, guys, buy or sell. Now that the lawsuits are all over, will Deshaun Watson return to his MVP level of play? James says Watson only signed to get the bag to pay those women off. Cleveland needs to tell him to kick rocks and move on. So, James, here is the problem. If the Cleveland Browns decide to cut Deshaun Watson, they have a $170 million dead cap hit next season. $170 million dead cap hit next season. The salary cap is only $225 million as is. So that only gives you $50 million to field a team for next season. You cannot do that. Nick Chubb alone is going to need $20 million to stay around. Amari Cooper is going to need another $19, $20 million. So that leaves you $10 million to field the rest of the 51 players on that team. Just not going to happen. Now, they could trade him. They could trade him to a team that has a lot of salary cap. They could trade him to a team like the Carolina Panthers that have like $250 million in salary cap. They're not paying nobody down there. They could be like, hey, we're going to cut Deshaun, but what if we trade him to you along with the first round draft pick and you send us, I don't know, Andy Dalton, somebody, right? Just send us somebody to sweeten the pot. Then you can do whatever you want with Deshaun Watson. Once Deshaun Watson gets traded, that dead cap hit gets cut in half. So if the Carolina Panthers do not want Deshaun Watson, they can cut him only $80 million cap hit. They're not going to be any good this year or next year. So why not take that dead cap hit and still get that first round pick as well? Now maybe Carolina makes a trade for Deshaun, and he has a resurrection like Sam Darnold does. Like who's the other quarterback that's playing well right now? Kirk Cousins, right? Like maybe he just needs a new change of scenery, some new coaching, and bada bing, bada boom, MVP level. It could happen. It could happen. James says you're paying the money either way. Cut him and get out of the locker room. You can't cut him though. $170 million of dead cap hit if you cut Deshaun Watson. If you cut him $170 million, you can't pay nobody. There's no fabricating that salary cap money. You just can't do it. You can trade him. That gets him off of your books. It's going to take probably a first round pick for a team to take him. So Deshaun Watson in a first round pick, maybe you can swap first round picks. I don't know. Something. James Frank, a resident Browns fan, says, I read Myles Garrett might get traded to the Lions. I think it's just a rumor, but I'd be sick. You'd never trade Myles Garrett. James, if you saw that news from the NFC North News on Twitter, that is a facetious Twitter handle. That guy just pulls up random shit out of the blue and just starts shit, right? Now, if I were the Cleveland Browns, I would be entertaining the idea of a complete rebuild. I would get Deshaun Watson out. I would see if there's any tread on Nick Chubb, and you can get a value pick out of him. The Dallas Cowboys need a running back. Send Nick Chubb down there. Myles Garrett is 30 years old, 29 years old, right? I think he was drafted in 2017. He should still have some tread left on the tires. But if somebody's offering you a first round draft pick for him, yeah. I know it would make me sick too. And to be honest, the Cleveland Browns still have one of the best defenses on paper. They still have Devin Bush. They still have Zadarius Smith, right? They still have Juan Thornhill. Granted, he is on IR. Greg Newsome's a dog. But if the Browns lose this weekend to the Eagles and get dominated like they have been, fire sale. James says, I'm working, but had to check out the show real quick. Thank you, man. Definitely appreciate it.